Good morning. I'm still buzzing with all the sugar, the chocolate I had yesterday. I ate so many bunny ears, you can't even imagine.
Did the Easter Bunny come to Espanola, Luann?
Absolutely. Brought me a little baby.
You had a little Easter with your peanut?
Yes, with my little peanut. He's so awesome. He's so cute. How was yours? You were busy working here yesterday.
Oh, I was hippity hopping all over the place.
Hippity hopping, as always.
I don't even know what I did this weekend. It's just everything's becoming a one big, I don't know.
This is a big week for you.
It is.
Right?
Shrek opens on Wednesday. I've got 2 of the cast members here today to talk to, so that's going to be interesting. And also, I did my first appearance on the web series My Roommate's an Escort. We filmed in the studio yesterday. I debuted a new character. Her name is Trixie.
Trixie.
Yeah. Trixie, I forget my last name already. Anyway, she's a morning show news anchor and host. Oh. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Do I know Trixie?
I don't think, no, Trixie's nothing like you.
Oh, good.
No. Trixie's a little fluffier than you are.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So anyway, I had to be here at like 6:30 in the morning.
Whoa, Sunday?
On Easter Sunday, I know.
Ouch.
I filmed the episode, and I don't know if you've seen My Roommate's an Escort.
No, I haven't.
It's a web series. You can check it out. They have all kinds of, they're on YouTube.
They're very popular.
Yeah, so Trish Rainoni from Sault Ste. Marie was a working actress in Toronto, and she and her partner in crime, Katie Ullman, they co-write it. Katie's company produces it, and Katie directs it, and co-directs, I guess. Anyway, they decided to move the series from Toronto to Sault Ste. Marie.
Wow.
So they brought everything
Good
up
for
here.
us.
Now, this is employing all kinds of Northern Ontario talent, both off-screen and on-screen. And so I'm in 3 episodes of 3 different characters, and they're talking about, and it's all sort of local now. So we're using local names of businesses and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So that was sort of, and then Keith and I went home and had a really nice sort of Easter dinner together.
Nice.
Because he heads out of town on Wednesday to go work on a film in Perry Sound, so he'll be gone. And then another one after that.
Night and he's headed out.
He's done so much work on the show, he won't even be there to enjoy it.
But poor guy. He's really helped out.
Oh, he's turned into the set designer for the show, which was
so awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a rainfall warning in effect.
Well, I can see.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty steady, and it's going to last throughout the day today, probably overnight as well, so be careful for flooding. It's for the Sault and St. Joe's Island.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to get like 50 millimeters.
The good news is it's going to wash all the remainder of the snow away, get rid of all that awful black stuff that's on the snow, the gravel, and this is one thing about spring, this portion of spring.
Yes.
Before the snow melts, it's so unattractive.
Yeah, it really is. When the buds start coming out and stuff, then it's prettier, right?
Hey, did you manage to get in a bonfire at all when you were?
No.
No, eh?
No, we did sit outside though.
Yeah.
Like it was gorgeous.
Oh, having a cup of coffee in the sunshine. I missed that.
Mine wasn't coffee, but that.
Yeah. No, I think it was Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, Saturday.
So it was gorgeous.
Oh, so beautiful out. Hope you got to get out there and enjoy it.
Today is Earth Day, Luann.
Oh, it is?
Since 1970. And this year the theme is Protect Our Species. And what they're trying to point out this year is, the quote is, I think this quote came from 1962, and I forget the lady's name. In nature, nothing exists alone. Ecosystems, you have to have these things in place.
Right.
It's all a system. We all survive. It's like if cows disappeared, what would be, you know what I mean?
And bumblebees. Like people think it's silly and go, what? So what if bumblebees are lessening in population? That's a big deal.
Coral reefs for the things that live underwater. Elephants, giraffes, insects, whales. These are all species that are actually facing extinction. Wouldn't it be something to have elephants or whales or giraffes die in our lifetime? Wouldn't that be tragic?
Oh, that would be
to be
so
responsible for that.
Yes.
Anyway, we're not single-handedly responsible because it's been happening. This destruction of the environment.
And that's what's wrong, right? It's been ongoing.
I didn't know this. The senator, I think it was a U.S. senator who was trying to get this Earth Day declared as far back as '62 when Kennedy was president. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't declare a national Earth Day. No, because it wasn't important enough back then. Finally, in 1970, he convinced the U.S. government that we need to acknowledge that we're creating an issue that is detrimental to the ecology.
And some of the higher level politicians still don't believe that it's an issue.
Right.
Still don't believe that the Earth in 12 years is going to be elite.
And if you're wondering at a grassroots level what you can do, obviously reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
Huge parts of it. Also, stop using pesticides and herbicides, and try to adopt a plant-based diet. They're just saying, it's So I say plant-based diet. That reminds me of the steel plant. So my diet would be red wine and salami because that's what they ate at the steel plant.
Excellent. I'm in.
In the olden days.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Red wine and salami.
Did you ever hear those stories about the steel plant in the olden days?
No.
Before all the health and safety and security and stuff,
Right.
it was kind of a thing where if you were working the night shift,
Yeah.
you or your wife would pack your lunch and it usually had a little tumbler of red wine and maybe some homemade salami.
Right.
Around 2 o'clock in the morning, the guys working the night shift would take their little break. They'd have some salami, a little glass of red wine, and then
Carry on.
Well, they wouldn't necessarily carry on. They might go find an empty closet, give a knock. If nobody was already in there, they'd go have a nap. These are the stories I heard from the steel plant back in
Let's do that here.
Okay, I'm game.
Like now.
Do I have to go back in the closet?
Yeah, you do. Sorry. I know you're out, but, well, you're familiar at least. Make it look pretty. Okay? Well, yeah. Hey, Pink's 7-year-old daughter.
Okay.
Pink, I love Pink. I think she's so strong and awesome and honest and a talented woman.
I will not fight you on that one.
Right?
I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah, she has a 7-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son, and her daughter is Willow, and she's working on tour. She's 7. She's working.
Really?
And yeah, she's helping with the quick
look,
changes and
there they
stuff.
are.
Yeah, she's helping with the quick changes, and she's already asked her mother for a raise. I think that's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, isn't
Get
that
pay
funny?
scale up there for children too.
Yeah, and Pink is a winemaker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she owns a 25-acre organic vineyard, and her wine is called Two Wolves Wine. She has sold 85 cases. I'm going to try and find it.
Are you? Two Wolves?
Two Wolves Wine.
Since she's Pink, I wonder if she only makes rosé. Oh!
She also hates social media.
Pink
She's
does?
so ticked off. Apparently there was a picture that she posted of her son with no diaper on. He's 2 years old. Well, apparently the people were threatening to call the authorities and this is abuse and blah, blah. She said, we're on the farm. We run around with no clothes on. I run around with no clothes on. So she said...
You mean Pink said that?
Yes.
You didn't say that.
No, Mama doesn't run around
I wouldn't
nowhere
want to see
with
you
no
run
clothes
in
on.
no clothes.
No.
Walking softly and gently, okay, but running
Yeah,
is
the
kind of
jiggle would be lingering.
kicking those things out of the way.
Yeah, right. But she says that she's never going to ever show pictures of her kids again because it made her cry. She just was devastated by how hurtful people can be. Like, which 2-year-old has never has gone without a diaper? Seriously?
Everybody.
Tim still does.
I still go without mine, just for short periods of time when I'm feeling confident.
Sometimes
How do you feel? Depends. Justin Bieber, social media. He's not shy. He came out with some tweets. Laura Ingraham, conservative pundit, talk show host for Fox. She was the one, we talked about this on air when Nipsey Russell's, just after he'd been murdered.
Nipsey Russell.
Nipsey Hussle, sorry. Right after Nipsey Hussle had been murdered, she was joking about his lyrics and stuff, and they actually laughed on air.
Yeah, she was very, very tactless.
So a lot of people have come out saying that she ought to resign, get away, quit, be fired, whatever, get out of our faces. Laura Ingraham. Justin Bieber joined that refrain on Instagram this past weekend, saying that Nipsey Hussle was a pillar of the community. He was a guy who did right by people, and that did she not even consider that there were family members who were mourning his loss, and fans and people who loved this guy.
Good for him.
And that she should just go away.
That's awesome. You know what else Justin Bieber did?
No, what else?
Ariana Grande opened Coachella.
Yeah, is that finally over?
Yeah, and she closed it this weekend and brought him out as a surprise for the audience.
Did he perform with Ariana?
He did. He performed. He said he hadn't been on stage for 2 years.
This was probably good for him.
Yes, he said he did Sorry rather.
Yeah.
And he also said there's an album coming very soon from him. So
wait a second. So he was talking about depression and not being able to do things, and in the meantime, he's been working on an album?
Well, you know what, though? Maybe he's been working on an album. It's been 2 years.
Well, that's
prior
great.
To his depression.
I'm glad to hear that he's out there having a good time, getting back up on stage again. That'll do it for you, you know?
And he said, I wasn't planning on being on stage today, so, he wasn't dressed. He felt, for the stage, but they had a great time.
Good. Well, you're going to have a great time on the show today, too. And speaking of the stage, I've got 2 stage actors coming up at 8:15 for our first interview, and then followed by a film actress coming up for the second interview.
Oh, my gosh.
I know, it's a busy, busy day on Mornings with Luann and Tim. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
At 4:45, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5 and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at 4:45, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
When you support the Restore, it helps Habitat for Humanity build affordable housing for families. How does this work? New and gently used goods are donated to the Restore. The sale of these goods generate funds for building homes. For every $1 spent at the Restore, there is a $4 return on investment within our community. For example, Habitat homeowners have better educational outlook, increased employment stability, improved health, and reduction in the use of social services. Every donation and every dollar we receive through the Restore helps build sustainable housing for future homeowners. Everyone needs a foundation to build a future. To find out more and how you can help, drop by the Restore at 32 White Oak Drive or go to habitatsioux.ca.
All right, as promised, in the house right now, I have what do I have? I have an ogre and a donkey. This is Winston Sullivan, star of Shrek. He is Shrek. And co-star Ryan Morrow plays Donkey.
Yep.
Right? We open Wednesday. Are you ready?
I think we're pretty good.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
What is this?
Yeah.
So I've been directing these 2 guys for the last 3 months. We've been having a blast, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Winston, you and I, did we ever work together before? Yes. What was the first show we did? You were little.
Sound of Music.
Which kid were you?
Friedrich von Trapp.
Friedrich von Trapp. But before that, you debuted in the same role that I did. Mm-hmm. What year were you, Oliver?
2007. I played Oliver.
1976 for me. That was your first foray into theater, was Oliver?
Well, the first major show. I'd done like things at the YMCA and stuff like that before, but that was the first show I did with the Comedy Guild.
And then you went on to do others as well after that? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then but you're studying what though? You went away to study
political science.
Political science. Why?
Well,
you want to make money for a living, or crazy? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, since I was little, there was always 2 things that I always really had passions for. It was things like history and current events, and the other one was music and acting. So, I think that you can make a career in acting. You don't have to get a degree in it. You can just do it, sort of thing. But I also think it's probably a good idea to have a piece of paper that says for political science. They don't just think, hey, you can walk in there and do whatever with that.
Ryan, what about you? When did you start in theater?
I started in 2014 with Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh.
Yeah, just the ensemble. That was with Joe Lozon.
Okay.
And then my next show was Mary Poppins with you.
Oh, you played that little Michael kid.
Michael, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I remember watching you. There was one thing you were supposed to do. We were you had to act like you were we were in a park or something, and all of a sudden, all of a sudden, there's Ryan Morrow on his hands and knees pretending to feed these little birds. We all cried. It was like, look at that little kid. He's such a good actor. He's pretending to feed birds that aren't even there. This experience, Donkey. What do you think so far? I mean, what you auditioned for the role?
Yes.
You studied it first.
I had a lot of experience with the musical like before it was even announced that it was happening.
How did you know? How did you have experience with the musical?
Well, I watched it all the time
Really?
on Netflix.
On
I
Netflix.
sang along with the songs and everything.
Right?
Yeah, so I already sort of had.
So was that a character that spoke to you, that sort of jumped out at you? Was like, I'd like to play that part?
100%.
Yeah. What's been the trickiest part of playing that role?
Being in the costume.
The costume?
I'd say, yeah. It's definitely it's difficult. It's very sweaty in there, and it's a lot of padding. But I have to use it to my advantage because it does make me look like a donkey.
This show incorporates some of the most bizarre costumes I've ever encountered or worked with on a show that I've directed. It makes things very complicated. Winston, tell the audience about what you just went through on the weekend.
So I got to the theater center. Was it Saturday, and I was there for about 4 hours. We started, so we had to get some prosthetic pieces on my face to sort of make me turn into the ogre.
The ogre. So you have 3 major pieces just for the head part. What you would call a cowl, which slips over your head and hugs you like a big rubber glove with the 2 horns sticking out. Then you have a forehead piece.
And a nose and chin piece.
A full nose, cheek, and chin prosthetic that has to be glued onto your face and attached to this cowl. What did that feel like in there?
You know, never been claustrophobic, so it's not something that it feels weird to me. But I was surprised by like how much movement you could get in it. Something I was worried about is like having facial expressions sort of being hindered. And there's some things I'll have to do a little different now that I'm in it. But it does give a lot of give, especially in the face area.
Yeah,
like the upper face.
You were talking and noticing you've done a lot of research as well, studying other people who played the role in video clips and stuff. And you were talking about eyes and mouth acting.
Yeah, the original Broadway actor. Brian Darcy James, he was very good at mouth acting. About 90% of his acting was his mouth. He had these very weird, facial expressions, teeth, and then lips curled. And I always found, like that, all these different things.
Yeah.
But for me, I always noticed that about 90% of them is in my eyes, like
eyebrows.
In my eyebrows.
Eyebrow acting. Eyebrow acting is a good thing to do. Your prosthetic is a little less complicated. You just wear a donkey's nose.
Just a
nose. You had that on for the first time. How'd that feel?
Felt pretty good. It's like kind of soft in there.
It is. So these oh look, hey, there's Mitchell Doherty as Farquaad. Isn't that funny?
It's a great picture.
Great characters. I mean, and it's very true to anybody who knows the cartoon, or would you call it the animated? What you call it a cartoon? The animation. Oh, look at our sets. They look great. For the first time ever, we're using projected scenery. That's been pretty cool. You guys have one of the great numbers in the travel song. The scenery is actually projection that moves behind you, so it
appears like we're walking through a meadow.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's a really neat, but hard to light. It's been interesting for me as a director to approach this from you can't use anything a certain distance towards the back wall because otherwise the lights will wash the projection out. So we've had to move this way downstage. So interesting set pieces. Things that open up and fall apart, and props that are magical.
And you can also use the orchestra pit in the.
It's called a passerella.
Passerella, yeah.
Thanks for paying attention. Okay, so wild costumes, incredible special effects, vocal talent. I mean, well, Winston, you studied with Agnes McCarthy?
No,
who did you study with?
Leslie Walsh Tippin.
You studied with Leslie?
For years, and then after that, I did bits and pieces with different people. Like you helped me out a bit, and people like Elizabeth Kinghorn and Louise Stevens.
Louise Stevens, yes. What about you? You're a student of Agnes's?
Agnes McCarthy,
Agnes McCarthy, okay. Yeah. And then you have a lovely leading lady. Talk a little bit about Allie. Allie, what's her last name?
Edwards.
Thank you. I got to call her Allie. Allie Edwards, playing Fiona. How do you have to do a lot of acting with Ali. I've watching you together, I think you're a dynamic duo. Like the three of you together, I think are just incredible on the stage. I'm so excited to see have the audience enjoy it. What's it been like for you with Ali?
It's been really great. I mean, there's two parts of it. One of it is being professional, coming in, knowing your lines, and being a joy to work with, sort of thing. And Ali's always been that way. And there's a lot, but she also is a really great actress and singer. Like she's been Princess Fiona from day one.
Yes.
She has that focus and concentration on her character. She knows what she's doing.
It's perfect.
I don't know if people understand the amount of work that goes into something like this. Well, first of all, the budget is extraordinary, and theater tickets are getting a little expensive now for some people. $40, that's a chunk, especially if you've got a family. But what as a director of a show, I have to come to the defense, because people don't understand just to put a show on like this, just to get the rights for the show, can be anywhere from $10,000 to $16,000 just to be able to put the show on. Then beyond that, you're talking about costumes and sets, tens of thousands of dollars of costumes and sets. Then you're talking about music and lighting and the special effects, and it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And you're up close to $100,000. Well, you're only doing 5 performances. You've got to make that money back. That's the only way an organization like the Comedy Guild can survive.
Exactly.
So would you say that the quality of what you've seen so far is going to blow audiences away?
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's amazing.
You come in every day and there's something new, isn't there, right?
There's always something new every time I come in, something new that's painted, new thing with the costumes. Like it's just so exciting to see everything all put
So the
together.
show opens
On Wednesday.
Wednesday, April 24th.
April 24th.
It's on your shirt.
Yes, April 24th.
28th. Tickets are available online at SaultCTC.ca. That's SAULT. SaultCTC.ca. If you don't want to get down to the station mall to buy a ticket, just go online, folks. Use your credit card. It's as simple as that. The seating plan is right there. Otherwise, they can go down to the station mall box office and buy their tickets. And there's tickets available at the door as well. Theater Center is where? Tell them where to go.
It's White Pines.
It's attached to
out
White
in the
Pines
East
High
End.
School. That's right. And what time does the show start, Ryan? Do you know?
7:30?
You're correct.
There we go.
What about if you have kids or seniors who want to come and see a show that's not so late in the evening?
Well, you can come on Sunday at 2:00 p.m.
What about that at a matinee, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, yes.
It is Shrek, the musical, live on stage, starring Winston Sullivan and Ryan Morrow, Ali Edwards, Mitchell Doherty, and more. A cast of about 44 local Sault Ste. Marie performers that will blow you away with special effects and makeup like you've never seen before on stage in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah.
This was an interview with you guys. I did most of the talking. Just like at rehearsals.
Just like at rehearsals.
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
No problem.
Thank you.
Enjoy your holiday Monday, and we'll see you at the theater at 4 o'clock.
Yes.
We'll be right back with Luann after this on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
As a nation, Canada has participated in all of the major world conflicts. In the Sioux area alone, over 10,000 men and women have enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces. The Veterans Commemorative Monument aims to cement the legacy of the Canadian Armed Forces in stone. It will highlight the bravery, strength, courage, and sacrifice of our servicemen and women. In times of need, they volunteered to serve us. Now it is our time to thank and recognize their sacrifice. You can help honor our men and women of service by donating today. To help construct this special, one-of-a-kind monument, visit thosewhoserve.ca to find out how to donate and more.
Every day, I walk for truth.
You know, with the whole cannabis thing, Luann, I was trying to get information about the legalization of cannabis in Ontario, and it's going to be legal in Michigan if it isn't already.
Yes.
It's on its way. So I remember I was trying to get some information from U.S. Customs to find out, you know, that if you're a Canadian trying to go into the States and you admit to even using cannabis recreationally, or I think medicinally too. If it's medicinal, they won't let you unless you come back with like a note or something.
Yeah, you need to bring some kind of a.
But even if you say that you have tried or used, they can refuse you entry forever, just by announcing that you have used.
So that is the case.
They can send, if you're a Canadian, they can bar entry and tell you you're not welcome to come back. And you can petition that, and then you have to go through the whole doctor thing and prove you're not an addict. Okay, so it's a whole rigmarole if you're a Canadian going across. I asked, what if you're an American citizen who's come to Canada and comes to a province where it is legal, and you use cannabis, and then you go back into the States? Will a border patrol ask you, if you're an American, do you smoke cannabis? And they generally won't ask that question. And if they do, and the answer is yes, they can. I said, will you bar a U.S. citizen from returning to your country if they say they have smoked marijuana while they are out of the country, marijuana, cannabis? And the guy said, we will never allow a citizen of our country entrance to their own country. They'll always be allowed back in. There may be charges or whatever, but they'll always be allowed back in. But there wouldn't be charges if you just use cannabis. But they would never ban anybody from re-entering the U.S. if you're a U.S. citizen. So the standards are different.
They certainly are.
Now, although Kodak Black, he's a 21-year-old rapper, and he came into Canada, and he was going back into the U.S. Okay, so he had with him a 9mm Glock, and he didn't declare it.
You got to declare that stuff.
You got to declare your gun. And he also had cannabis, and they charged him with possession and with the gun thing. So he drug and gun offenses. This guy, so they let him back in, but they're charging him just for possessing cannabis. Now, once again, are they going to take this guy and actually make these charges stick when he's traveling into a state where there's, it's New York State, cannabis isn't legal there.
That's the difference.
Anyway, I just think it's bizarre that they're charging somebody with just a recreational amount of marijuana, but I guess that's the thing. You can't cross the border with weed. He should have thought of that.
Yeah, exactly.
But now Ben & Jerry's, it's just coincidental that, 420 is sort of the code for people who use cannabis, 4:20 p.m. Was there on 420?
Yeah.
There was also a Ben & Jerry's publicity thing. Ben & Jerry's, because they have the half-baked ice cream.
Oh, yes.
And these guys are pretty hip. So they put out a campaign on 420 saying there is a disproportionate number of black people charged with possession offenses of cannabis, and it needs to stop, and come on America, smarten up.
Wow,
on
Ben
420,
and
Ben & Jerry, and it just sort of coincided with this guy getting charged with recreational, but he crossed the border.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Ben & Jerry's, and on 420, they said...
You know what? They are on top of it.
They really are.
Very, very cool folks.
Yep.
Hey, Megan's just about ready to pop.
Meghan Markle?
Yes.
Is she the princess who's married to...
Harry.
Harry, the redhead.
Yes. Okay. Her mom's actually in the UK now with her. So people are talking about how it's got to happen. It's going to be pretty soon.
Where's her mother live? Do you know?
In the States.
Oh, okay. And her father's like in...
The States.
Oh, I thought he was down in Spain or something.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Yeah. But she has indicated, she and Harry have indicated, that they're not going to do what William and Kate did, and like the day of the birth, basically, walk out and have a photo shoot
in
with the baby.
street clothes.
Yeah, in street clothes. And apparently Meghan is not going to put that kind of pressure on herself, because she doesn't want any photos taken right after pregnancy or delivery. So at a later date, some home photos will be taken and they will be published.
Well, that's way more reasonable.
Well, my goodness, I'm like, I can't believe she's standing up.
That's what they did with Diana too. She had to come walking out in a little suit and hold the baby.
Really?
And you're thinking,
and the makeup and the hair done, I'd be like, my face was this big. Are you kidding me?
Hey, so if that baby comes soon, that'll be nice, because it could be a nice little birthday present for the queen.
Yeah, because it's her birthday.
She just turned 93, the monarch.
Yeah. And Meghan and Harry went on Instagram and said, happy birthday, Your Highness, ma'am, Granny. She doesn't seem like a granny to me.
93?
Imagine.
I wonder how long she's got. Well, her mother lived to be 100, didn't she?
Yes. Yeah, and she was spry. Like,
I
she
wonder
was
how
on
long
top
she'll
of it.
reign. Will she reign forever?
Yes, she's been already.
She already is the longest reigning monarch in the history of the.
She was. I think she was under 20 when she first started.
When she was coronated.
Yes. Coronated. I wonder if that hurts.
So you have the news coming up next?
Yes, the news is coming up next. Please stay with us. There's lots more on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
Every day, I walk for freedom.
Every day, I walk for change.
Early yesterday morning, city police and firefighters went to a call about smoke filling the building at 100 James Street. Two small fires were quickly extinguished. Nobody was injured. However, several people were temporarily evacuated from their apartments due to the smoke. The incident is being treated as suspicious in nature, and the investigation is ongoing. The chief of a First Nation in northwestern Ontario, long plagued by the debilitating impacts of mercury contamination, says he's worried about the fate of a federally promised treatment facility as the calendar speeds towards this fall's election without any signs of progress. Grassy Narrows First Nation has suffered from the health impacts of mercury contamination stemming from when a paper mill in Dryden dumped 9,000 kilograms of the substance into the English Wabigoon River system in the 1960s. Those afflicted with mercury poisoning suffer from impaired peripheral vision, hearing, speech, and cognitive function. Other symptoms include muscle weakness, numbness, or stinging excruciating pain in the extremities and mouth. Help for those residents appeared a certainty 2 years ago when the minister in charge of the file promised a specialized treatment facility on the reserve. A required feasibility study was produced last November that outlined costs and design ideas. Grassy Narrows Chief Rudy Turtle said there's been little action on the project. Meanwhile, there also appears to be a political disagreement between the federal Liberals and the Ontario Tory government over jurisdictional responsibility. He urged the federal government to put $88.7 million, that's the estimated 30-year cost for the facility according to the feasibility study, into a trust fund for the community to ensure the project moves ahead no matter the results of the fall federal election. Premier François Legault visited a flood-affected area in Laval, Quebec, where the Army has been called in to help protect homes and infrastructure from rising water levels. Legault says the government is reviewing its programs and may ask some residents to move from areas that are subject to repeated flooding.
Some people, it's the second time they've been hit in the last 3 years. So we are reviewing the programs to make sure that the taxpayers, they don't pay too much for rebuilding places that will be touched often. So we will give incentive to move to go to somewhere. If we want to prevent, if we want to minimize impacts on houses, it's important to do that soon. So that's what we're doing, and I think that the population is very happy to see the Army so soon here.
At least 290 people were killed and hundreds more wounded in 8 bomb blasts that rocked churches and luxury hotels in or near Sri Lanka's capital on Easter Sunday.
There was a loud explosion. Just to check, I climbed up to the rooftop. About 1 kilometer away, we could see a white smoke coming out. And at that precise moment, there was a helicopter doing a flyby.
Canadian security officials have turned to their U.S. counterparts for advice on revamping Ottawa's troublesome no-fly list that has ensnared young children trying to check in at the airport. Newly released memos show Canadian representatives held a series of consultations with American officials to learn from their experiences implementing a new passenger screening and redress system a decade ago. The Public Safety Canada memos released under the Access to Information Act detail the steps being taken to redesign Canadian no-fly procedures, from legislative and regulatory changes to hefty information technology investments. One memo says it's important to note that implementing the Enhanced Passenger Protect program is a substantial undertaking that will take some time. It involves the passage of legislation, new regulations, the development and testing of IT systems, and domestic air carriers adopting the new system. The changes have been spurred in large measure by parents of children who have repeatedly endured nerve-wracking airport delays because a youngster's name matches one on the no-fly list. A bill currently before the Senate would allow federal officials to electronically screen air passenger information against the list, a process now handled by the airlines.
Every day, I walk for her.
thousands of people across the country take part in the Canadian Cancer Society's Relay for Life. So join the Relay for Life, and together, let's make a difference.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen to them. Children of the night.
It's alive! It's alive!
Just want to say a huge thank you to 4:45 sponsoring the morning show, Luann and Tim. We appreciate it. Go check them out. They're on Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. So everything starts at 5 o'clock on Saturday.
$5.
$5, thank you. Everything starts at $5 on Saturdays, and then each day goes down so that by like Friday, you could pay a nickel for something.
I like that. Everything starts at 5 o'clock. Okay. How much is that? It's 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Huh? That's like, have you ever noticed that this is a comedian does this, I think, about how as Canadians, or at least Northern Ontarians, we talk in hours, not distance. How far away is Toronto?
Yeah,
8.5 hours.
Yeah.
How far away is Sudbury? 3 hours and 20 minutes.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how far it is to Espanola. I don't. I know it takes me 2.5 hours.
It's funny, isn't it?
I don't know how many kilometers it is. I really don't.
I don't really know either.
I think my car knows. I think it probably could get there by itself.
Yeah. How do you feel about cars that drive themselves? Because they're coming out, right?
I know.
Self-driving vehicles. They have self-driving Ubers now, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
I don't trust it.
Not yet. You know what? I think it's going to be awesome if it works. But boy, I'm thinking I've heard a couple of tryouts and they didn't go really, really well.
I mean, it couldn't be any worse than I am, automatic driving. But I don't trust me either, so that's not saying much.
You know what? Big news in the singing world. What? Adele and her husband.
Splitskis.
Done. And his name is Simon Konecki, so they're splitsies.
I saw a picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have married him in the first place.
Oh.
Well, if you know, as we age, we tend to not be as attractive as we were when we were married, when we first got together.
Speak for yourself.
This guy's somebody said, whenever anybody says, you get better with age, I'm like, yeah, keep drinking.
Yeah, have another one. Yeah, but apparently she said up until her last interview 6 months ago, she was talking about, her son's going to be 4, it's time to have another baby, and he's perfect because he's not intimidated by her career, he's very confident, and he's like not a Hollywood guy. And
she was wrong.
Apparently she was wrong.
Did you read whether it was her choice, his choice?
No, they just made the announcement together, and we'll always be true friends.
Adele.
You know what? Everybody's friends when they're divorced. Are you kidding me? You're divorcing the person. You're not going to be friends with them.
Some people, amicable. What about Ben Affleck and what's her name, Jennifer Garner?
Yeah. I don't know if she'd call it amicable. She's had to take him to rehab and everything else, right?
Well,
saying.
When Jim does that for you one day, you'll know how much it means.
They have a wing set aside for me.
The wing!
The wing.
Okay, so
the rehab wing.
You're talking about Adele. She's over in the UK. There was a British comedian. I guess his stage name was Incognito. Ian Cognito.
Oh.
He was a stand-up comic, okay? He was in his early, you can tell I was past tensing this, right? Mm-hmm. He died on stage.
What?
In the middle of his act. He was halfway through his act, and he had just a few minutes earlier been joking about heart attacks and strokes.
People probably thought he was goofing around.
They did. He sat down in a chair. They said his arms went back, his head went back, he started to twitch, and they thought that it was part of the routine.
Oh my word. Oh my gosh.
And then he died.
30?
No, in his 60s.
Oh,
Other comics backstage realized that this wasn't funny anymore, and they went running out and started performing CPR, but he never came back.
Oh my word.
Well,
talk about doing what you love.
I know somebody who died on stage. I do. I've
died several times on stage.
I die on stage every time I do a bad joke. I can't think of his last. Terry Doyle. Terry Doyle was, I worked with him in Legend of the Dumbbells. He was starring in Grand Ben, Drayton Entertainment's production of Beauty and the Beast. He was playing the father to Belle. He had indigestion and heartburn before the show started. He went on stage. He made it through his ballad that he had to sing to his daughter Belle, and he died right after his solo, but the audience saw it happen. They had to bring in the curtain, and
Oh my gosh,
but
that's so
but his
sad.
family said it may not be the audience, it may not be the way the audience wanted it to go, but it's the way Terry would have wanted to go.
Yeah.
Wild.
Unbelievable.
Well, I hope I don't die on stage ever, and certainly not during our next interview, because it's worth sticking around for. It's Sonia Mazzotti here for the Senior Singers. Honestly, this is an uplifting story. You're going to love this. There's a concert coming up in support of St. Vincent's Place.
Awesome. Terrific.
See that right after this on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
I need a new phone.
What do you use your phone for mostly?
Work, play.
Oh, you mean everything.
One that won't run out of battery when Joyce from accounting is doing the Running Man.
Who else wants to see that Running Man demo?
The Samsung Galaxy Note 9. It's a great phone with a powerful all-day battery. We've got the best phone for you for a great price. And you can choose your carrier.
A little Running Man?
Just a little. There. Nice. I hope no one saw that.
Whew. Where was she when I went phone shopping?
Have a great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center.
Drop by one of our 3 Sault Ste. Marie locations. You do life, we do taxes.
I am joined by someone who is no stranger to being in front of the cameras or on stage. Sonia Mazzotti, nice to have you with us this morning.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I think, let me see, I probably first met you, I worked with your daughter, Desiree, on stage when we did You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, Mount St. Joseph, with grade like 12 or 11, whatever, oh my gosh.
Not that long ago.
Not that long ago,
Tim.
Sonia. Then I had the pleasure of seeing you play the role. Now, would you play Mama Rose in Gypsy, didn't you?
I certainly did.
That was when I first realized what a talent you were. Oh my gosh, Sonia, you were incredible in that role.
Thank you.
It's a dream role, isn't it?
It's perfect.
Mama Rose. And now you're very busy with film and television.
Absolutely.
Isn't it terrific how things have turned for us in Sault Ste. Marie? You're currently filming for this web series, My Roommate's an Escort.
Yep, and I'm grandma this time. Grandma Ann.
Grandma Ann.
Right.
How you and I were both here yesterday. You had a shoot. I had a shoot. How'd yours go?
Absolutely great.
Aren't they funny, those girls?
Yeah, that's all they do is giggle. I said, you must be really tired. You're giggling all the time, because they were just, it was the end of the shoot and they were tired. But it was like,
it's a lot of fun. But now on stage, these days, you're up there with the senior singers.
That's where I am.
And as I mentioned to Luann, fundraiser coming up. The date is?
The date is the last Tuesday of April, the 30th.
30th of April, and it's being held at St. Vincent's.
That's right. They have a huge hall there, and so we're going to perform there.
Yeah, you walk in those main doors right off of Albert Street, and you go down into the basement, and it's like a church hall, basically.
It is. It's huge.
With the kitchen and everything. Are you using the kitchen? Will there be food?
Well, the seniors are bringing the food.
Isn't that nice?
They're singing and they're bringing treats.
Singing and bringing treats.
And the Knights of Columbus, 11608, donated $50 for coffee, tea, whatever.
And tea for the audience members.
For the audience.
Who are not being charged. This is a benefit concert.
By donation.
By donation.
Yeah.
So bring your 5s and 10s and 20s. Bring your loonies and toonies and just fill up the jar. And it's all for St. Vincent's Place. It's for their food bank. And what else? Do you know? Or
you can bring in clothing. Like a lot of the seniors are bringing socks, because that's always in short supply, and whatever else you think the men might need.
And non-perishable food goods.
Yes.
Yeah. So by donation, bring something in for the gentlemen who are staying. What a great facility it is for those guys. So you've got how many senior singers now?
Well, there were 25 when I started, and now there's 65.
65 singers?
Right. Yeah.
That's a huge choir.
Well, they don't all go to it. They're not all able to go to every performance.
Okay.
We have mobility issues and things like that, so they have doctor's appointments, whatever.
Yeah.
And so as many of them as can go will go.
65 singers. So you've brought 40 more in over how many years have you been doing this?
6.
You've been the musical director for 6 years. But the senior singers have been around a long. I didn't realize how long. You said like 40.
It's over 45 years.
I had no idea. Your daughter Melissa at one time was a musical director.
Absolutely. She was musical director for 10 years.
Whoa.
Then she up and got married and moved to the States.
The nerve of her.
I'm mad.
So you stepped in, Mama?
No, not then. There was another person after, and then she up and quit. With no warning, and I got this emergency phone call. Would I take it over? And so I thought, sure, I was retired.
Were you a singer in the choir at that point, or no?
No, I was not in the choir.
Really?
My husband was in the choir.
Gino.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was in the choir, but I wasn't, so I took over. It was just in time for Christmas, so I put together a Christmas program, and off we went.
What is your musical background? I've never even asked you.
Well, I've been singing forever. I used to do the Polish program on television. I used to sing in Polish.
No way.
Oh, yeah, we did 2 years of that. I was 16 and 17 when I did that. I was always singing in the music festival, and then I started doing the theater and doing the Opera Society, Musical Comedy Guild, all that
Company.
stuff.
Remember, I love that show. You played Joanne. Here's to the ladies who lunch. Brilliant.
Yeah.
What is the age range now of the singers in the senior choir?
Well, you have to be 55 to join.
Isn't that nice to hear? You actually have to be 55.
You have to be 55. So
it's my kind of club.
Most of them are in their 60s and 70s, but I have some in their 90s, and I have one gentleman just turned 95.
Good heavens, that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
What does it do for them, do you think, Sonia, as participants?
Well, they love rehearsals because we have so much fun.
You do.
But we work. We work hard, but we have fun. And I think it energizes them.
Right.
And then when we go out to the nursing homes and we see some of those people who, just are stuck there. They can't go anywhere.
And many of them younger than yourself.
Absolutely. And so they just love going out to the nursing homes, the hospital, all that.
Tell me about the reaction you get from the guests at the nursing homes to the music.
Well, a lot of them are just sitting there in their wheelchairs or in their chairs, and they're not,
not
heads down. Yeah, they're just there. And when we start to sing, the head starts going, and then the feet start going, and they're going, and I mean they're not singing, but they recognize the songs that we're singing because I try and
find. You really do
older songs.
You provided me with the song with 20 numbers. Is this what? Is this the program for the St. Vincent's Place?
Yeah, that's our spring program.
It's beautiful. So you've got When You're Smiling and Magic. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Sunrise, sunset. So you've got
upbeat songs.
Show tunes. You've got jazz and pop standards from the.
Era. And we always do a polka.
Yes.
Because they love the polkas. And
Beer Barrel Polka here.
And we do a Western song because they like that. So we do a little bit of everything.
Real variety. Harmonies, the whole shebang?
We do that sometimes.
For some of the...
We have soprano and alto. Not in this particular program, but usually for Christmas when we do like Silent Night or something, they like to sing in soprano and alto.
So nursing homes, you said you do hospital visits as well?
We go to the hospital. We just we perform in 2C. It's a little hall about the size of this studio, and they bring the people in.
Wow.
And we go to wherever we're invited, pretty much.
Well, we're inviting you to St. Vincent's Place on Tuesday, April the 30th. You can see Sonia conducting.
Oh, no,
you're going to be working. But you've got a substitute. You're going to miss it because you're filming.
I'm filming.
But you've got the wonderful Mary Madonna.
Mary Madonna and Lorraine Smith are our pianists. I'm so thankful for them because they're wonderful. So Mary will be directing and Lorraine will be playing.
Okay. And that is by donation only. So no charge at the door. Show up with your money, your non-perishable canned goods, and your clothing items for the gentlemen at St. Vincent's Place. Sonia, always a pleasure to spend time with you.
Thank you, Tim.
And we'll be back with Luann after this break.
Housed in a 15,000 square foot custom manufacturing facility built to produce world-class cabinetry at surprisingly affordable prices, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry brings your project from initial concept to final design. Proudly providing Northern Michigan and the Algoma region with quality hand-built cabinetry for the past 20 years. Located at 844 East 3 Mile Road, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry, making your cabinetry dreams come true.
In the beginning, there was nature, the oceans, the forests, the mountains, and so history was passed on, and memories took shape, defining us, uniting us, creating a legacy that's ours to preserve, and ours to celebrate.
Beauty amazing, got a kiss from the sun, and that thing will be blazing. I'm dreaming, dream catching on my field, catches for us run, running the river to the water, feel lots of jumping to the beat, birds flying to the creek, part of the plan, dirt on my feet, feeling the beast, feeling that beat it, I beat it, the beast, feeling that peace, feeling that ease, hold up, can we fighting the feeling I need.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Do you want to join the seniors choir with me? We're
oh
old
my
enough.
gosh, we are old enough. We could do it. Well, I could show up. I wouldn't sing. I wouldn't sing.
You could play the triangle.
Yes, I'm a good percussionist. Give me an egg, and I'm like just right in
that's
there.
Great, Luann. Hey, do you want to come back tomorrow?
Yeah, let's do this tomorrow.
Okay, I'll see you here.
Okay, thank you so much. To 4:45, Ashman Street, Sault, Michigan. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Thank you.